Good evening, everyone, and a very, very warm welcome to today's session. This is under the series of sessions that's going to happen starting from this Nurses Month, that is Candid Conversations 2023. And this is the first roundtable where we have our esteemed leaders from the nursing services and from academics coming together to discuss only one very important topic, that the gap between nursing examinations and council registration. I'm Tankam Gomez. I'm the founder CEO of Cygnia Healthcare, and I'm very honored to be partnering today with Nurse India. And it gives me pleasure to welcome our partners, Miss Indira and Miss Preeta from Nurse India, who have joined us, and collectively we have put this today's session for all of us to discuss, deliberate, and hopefully come up with some workable solutions to this problem. Very quickly, I just wanted to tell that how did I, come to this problem, this particularly this gap. It happened when I got a call from one of the principals who says that, I have got students who are not getting placed, and can you, help us? So I started asking, why should they be placed? Why shouldn't they be? So I started talking to more academicians and more service providers. I realized that it is not always the case that students are getting an opportunity to work in hospitals till the time they get their registration. So I thought that we are we already have a problem with nursing. We are 1.4 million short. In the month of March from India, we have sent almost 23,000 nurses outside India. So we are running short of nurses. We have colleges, we create nurses, but they go away. And the attrition rates are anywhere from 30 to 60% in private hospitals. So we have enough and more to fight with. So I thought that if we allow the students to kind of, not to get anywhere to be placed by after the exam before the council, are we leading to knowledge decay and skill decay? Getting our own defeating, circumstances. So that's how the thought process came. We talked to Preeta and Indrani and say that, maybe this is one round that we can start with. I think for me personally, it's a burning issue. And today's problems cannot be solved by what we did today, because today's problem will lead today's solutions. And I'm very, very hopeful that today, while doing the panel discussion, put together and agree that there is something that we can do to offset the problem that we are facing. Some of you are already taking care of the issues, but then today it is not about individual colleges or individual hospitals, more about coming up with a strategy, that all of us can adopt, and maybe we need to talk to more people, come up with the pertinent solution for this gap, because I think all of us are aware that, this is what is need to happen, right? So with that, I am going to invite Indrani on the virtual platform to introduce our panelists today. Before that, may I request Indrani and Preeta to come on the screen, stop sharing, so that all the participants can see who are behind Nurse India. So that's Indrani and that is Preeta. And I am their partner because I believe in what they are doing. They are moving forward to creating one-stop platform for nurses. We are in the initial stages, and we are building the community. And I joined them because I believe in what they are doing. Anything good for the future of nursing, I'm game. So thank you so much, Indrani and Preeta, for being here. And let's have a great day. Over to Indrani to do the introductions. And once again, requesting all of you to please keep yourself muted and off the video and allow the proceedings to happen without any interruptions. Thank you so much for everyone for being here. We are already 100 plus. More will be joining us. Thank you. Over to you, Indrani.
Thank you so much, Thankam, and a warm welcome to all the 104 and more as we speak, people who've actually made the time to join this discussion. We've, of course, got a galaxy of speakers. So without further ado, let me do the honors of, and I'm privileged to be introducing the star cast of speakers that we have. So I'm going to share so that all of you all can also see. And yes. Okay. My honor to introduce the first panelist of the day, Captain Dr. Usha Banerjee. Frankly, she needs no introduction. A gold medalist from AFMC Pune. She's headed nursing across some of the major groups of the country, Manipal Group, Max Group, and currently with the Apollo Hospitals Group. A versatile professional, in addition to her nursing, she's also completed her MBA. She's also completed her diploma in training and development from ISTD. And I can tell you as an HR professional myself, what a coveted certification, ISTD certification is. And she's a PhD and also a president's body. I think she's today on this platform and part of Thankam and the group because her vision is to build a nursing workforce that is key to patient and business outcomes, and thus enabling all nurses to gain the professional respect that they so richly deserve. A very warm welcome, Captain Dr. Usha Banerjee, Group Director Nursing, Apollo Hospitals Group.
Thank you, Ms. Indrani, and thank you, Ms. Thangam, for this privilege.
Thank you. I'll move on to our next speaker, and that's another stalwart of the nursing fraternity, Captain Sandhya Shankar, Corporate Chief of Nursing, Fortis Healthcare. Another graduate from AFMC Pune. She spent 12 years in the Indian Army before foraying into corporate hospitals in 2008. And I think over the last 15 years, her career trajectory has been amazing as well. She's held leadership positions not only in nursing, but also in clinical and HR as well. So that's a wonderful, well-rounded professional that you have with successful stints in Max Healthcare, Medanta, and currently as the Corporate Chief of Nursing in Fortis Healthcare. Captain Sandhya Shankar, warm welcome to this Candid Conversation Roundtable.
Thank you, Indrani. Thank you, Ms. Thangam. So glad and privileged to be amongst all of you and looking forward to a great session and an experience today. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker would be Dr. Jyoti Clara Michael. Again, someone who needs no introduction. I think she's one of the most accomplished nursing leaders. And apart from her professional position as the Director of Nursing of IHH Healthcare in India, she holds multiple positions across various bodies, a founding member of ANEI and a past vice president. She's on the membership and board and advisories of various bodies like INS, of CCNS, CAHO, and AHPI, and a prolific publisher as well. Warm welcome, Dr. Jyoti, to this session, and may we have you on screen for a second.
Thank you, Indrani. Thank you, Thankam. I'm very delighted to be among all of you. Thank you, all participants.
Thank you, Dr. Jyoti. The fourth speaker, and this is the panel that I say that who represents the practitioner side or the hospital side as far as today's topic is concerned, is Dr. Anu Kaushik. Dr. Anu Kaushik is the Director of Nursing for Cloud9 Hospital Group. Again, someone with over 25 years of experience. She's held various nursing roles across many of the corporate hospitals. She's worked in Fortis, she's worked in Columbia Asia Group, she's worked in Holy Family Hospital. She started a career with Maulana Azad and currently as the Group Nursing Director at Cloud9 Hospital. Beg your pardon. She's also a PhD in nursing, and we are delighted to have Dr. Anu Kaushik on this panel.
Thank you so much, Indrani, for the warm introduction. Thank you, Thankam ma'am, Indrani and Peter for giving me this opportunity to share this platform with stalwarts of nursing. It's such a wonderful experience to see Usha ma'am, Dr. Clara, Sandhya, and I think it's going to be, I would say, an excellent deliberations, and it will be a lot of takeaways for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm now moving on to the other set of speakers that we have, and they represent the nursing colleges and nursing education side, because this issue has, both stakeholders, the practitioner side and the education. So my pleasure to introduce Professor Sonali Jadhav, Dean and Principal of MS Ramaiah Institute of Nursing Education and Research, Bangalore. Professor Jadhav is a nursing educator par excellence. She's a career educator, and she started her teaching career with Bharati Vidyapith College of Nursing in Pune, followed by St. Martha's College of Nursing in Bangalore, and then Bhagwan Mahavir Jain College of Nursing in Bangalore. And then for the last many years in MS Ramaiah, but today she is the Dean and Principal. A warm welcome, Professor Sonali Jadhav, and we look forward to hearing you.
Thank you, Indrani and Prita, for giving this opportunity to be part of this panel discussion. And also thanks to Thankam ma'am, and wish a very good afternoon to all the audience. Thank you.
Thank you. Delighted to introduce Ms. Upama De, Principal, College of Nursing, TSL, which stands for Tata Steel Limited, from Jamshedpur, where, by the way, the weather is inclement. She's warned us of the weather there. Again, close to 2 decades of experience in nursing education. She's worked with prestigious organizations such as B.M. Birla Heart Research Center in Calcutta, Deccan Education Society, Woodlands Hospital, Charnock College of Nursing, both from Calcutta, Institute of Neurosciences, and currently with the College of Nursing, Tata Steel Limited in Jamshedpur. She's also rank holder from Calcutta University, and we are delighted to have Ms. Upama De today on the panel.
Good afternoon, everyone. A special thanks to Indrani, who has hosted this, and also a special mention of Madam Thankam. She has thought about it. It's a real challenge, and I'm looking forward when I have 4 of the industry leaders in nursing. I'm sure the students will be benefited, and there will be some actionable points which will come out of this discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Upama. Thank you. My special privilege of introducing Usha Malik, because Usha and I have also worked together in my earlier career. Usha she's a distinguished nursing professional with a very special combination of skill sets, because she's headed nursing both clinically as a nursing head for a large multi-speciality hospital, and then moved on to education, where today she is the head of department and head of the nursing piece in Alia University, which is a big university in West Bengal. So she actually has seen the problem from both angles, and we are delighted to have her here as she shares her thoughts on this. Welcome, Usha.
Thank you, Madam Indrani. At the onset, I really extend my sincere thanks and gratitude to the Nurse India and Madam Thankam as well for giving me this opportunity in this platform with a big and legendary nursing personality. Hope some solutions will be come out with all of our thoughts. And with the participants' view also, we can come across some solution. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And our final panelist for the day would be Professor Lavanya Nandan, Director and Principal, Nightingale Institute of Nursing in Noida. Professor Lavanya is also an erudite nursing educator with over 2 decades of experience. She's worked across colleges. She started as a lecturer in MS Ramaiah, then moved in as the principal of Rama Nursing College, as the principal of Indraprastha Apollo Hospital's Nursing School, and currently she's the principal of Nightingale Institute of Nursing. We are delighted to have Professor Lavanya on this panel.
Yeah, good afternoon and namaste. Thank you, Nurse India, Cygnia Healthcare, Preeta and Indrani, and Thankam especially. And it's a great privilege to be among leaders in nursing industry, and looking forward for bringing a solution to the problem, what has been mentioned here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, all panelists. And before I hand over to Thankam to start off the panel discussion, just a small brief as to why 2 non-nursing professionals, Preeta, that's my co-founder Preetha and I are on this panel. So we are the co-founders of Nurse India, and our intent is to build the largest and the finest nursing community platform that is tech-enabled in India. We've had experience in our earlier careers, and we realized that if nursing and technology came together, my God, that would be such a wonderful force for good, because we have all our erudite nursing leaders and nursing educators and the millions of nurses across India and the world. I mean, Indian nursing is one of our, I think, unsaid but largest exports also to the first world. So we have that. But if we could actually bring in a technology layer there, I think it would ease the lives of professionals everywhere. And we can actually have nursing concentrate on what they do best, which is clinical nursing. So that's what we intend to do, where we want to become the one-stop solution for hospitals and nurses for as far as nursing, hiring, training, and most importantly, professional networking is concerned. With a galaxy of leaders such as this, I think the best way for all of us is to learn from each other, solve problems, and keep moving forward and make nursing a profession of choice in India. With that, and we have such a galaxy of stars today, I will take a minute and invite Preetha to talk briefly about something that we are very passionate about. Preetha, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Indrani. Thank you everybody for being here. And it's amazing for me to be sort of among this galaxy of stars, as Indrani said. Truly an honor. So thank you everybody for being here. Indrani's already spoken about why we started Nurse India. It's early days yet, and we'll need all your support as we go ahead. But we are very privileged to be able to be here with you all and to have the support and guidance of Thankam as well. Given that we have such a wonderful sort of galaxy here of present and future leaders as well, with all the participants that have logged in. I want to very quickly tell you about this program that we are about to start. It is something that's very close to our hearts. We are calling it the Ignite program, and it's going to be a hunt for India's future leaders of nursing. So we're going to run this across colleges and young professionals and try to find future leaders from the nursing community. So we're very excited. It is all going to hopefully be up on social media very soon. So please keep an eye out for that. That's all I'll say about that right now. But it's going to be an exciting program for sure. I think it's time to start off proceedings. So over to you, Thankam. Let's get into the meat of this. So and thanks very much for giving us the opportunity to be a part of this. Thanks a lot.
Thank you
Thankam,
so much.
all yours.
Yes, thank you, Preetha. Thank you, Indrani. It's a mutual admiration club here. We complement each other and way to move forward, because as one individual, we will not be able to do much. When we come together, our force can be pretty strong to reckon with, right? Okay. So thank you both. And I'm just going to our panelists. I'll pin them up so that the screen can be easy and we can be looking at it while we are discussing. So I'll get all the 8 panelists here. Just give me a moment. So to the audience, you're getting your speakers on the podium, on the virtual platform. They're coming. So I'm just looking for others. Can I have the other panelists be on the video, please, so that I can pin you up? Okay, Upama, I can find you there. So let me add you. Who's missing now? There's one person missing, no? Who's that? No, only me. Or we got all the 8 panelists? 7. No, somebody is missing. Lavanya. Lavanya, can you start the video, please?
Yeah, I'm on video.
I'm not able to find you.
Yes, Thankam. All 8 panelists are on video. and you.
Okay, 1 second. Let me just get Lavanya. I'll pin her up. And I pin myself up. Okay. So are we good now? Okay, thank you so much, all of you. And request Indrani and Preeta to manage the backend admitting, muting people. Thank you so much for all of you. So today a doctor messaged me today morning, and he sent one article from, I think it was Finance Times or one of the newspaper, where he had written, many people are now taking interest because the government has announced 157 nursing colleges to come up, right? So the question there was, it's okay to open so many colleges, but we should also know that whatever good nurses we prepare, they tend to go out. So how do we improve the quality of people? How do we make nursing an attractive profession? That's another question for another day. So today our focus is only on one thing. So my first question will be on the topic itself. I would ask the academicians is that, tell us that what happens between the exam when they give the final year exam and before the registration happens. What I understand is the gap can be a couple of months to maybe 8-9 months also. So that gap is how it is being filled in your own experience, or you can tell about others. And each one of you, you can restrict your answers to 3 minutes, and then I will go to the service providers to understand what are they doing with everybody. Hello, can you all hear me? Sorry.
Yes.
Now
We
you are
lost
audible,
you.
ma'am.
We lost you for a few minutes.
Okay, I lost you. I saw all of you getting frozen. Then I got worried. I said, what happened? So Preeta and Rani, I'm requesting, just in case you disconnected, please continue the conversation so that we don't get stuck. So I hope you heard my question. This is the question to all the academicians. So let me start off with whoever is next to me, this Lavanya. So Lavanya, will start off with you, and then we'll move on to Pama, and then Usha, and finally to Dr. Sonali. So it's 2 to 3 minutes answer so that we can keep up. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Tankam ma'am. As students write exams, after this, university takes up for evaluation. You know, the window period for results is 40 to 45 days. But whereas in India, when I have looked many universities, they take pretty good time, probably more than 2 months, sometimes more than 3 months for the results. Then there's already, you know, the problem has started in the beginning itself, when the university is taking its good time. Then once the results are out, then the institution has a role here before registration, that is verifying the documents of the students before going for a registration. So if they are sensitive enough for the students' problem, principal and the institution will take up this seriously and finish it within a week time, not more than that. But here again comes the problem is many institutions keep spending their documentation, verification goes a long time, then the documentation reaches the council later stage. Then the third place is council. Now council, when it receives the documentation, all these years it was offline, student has to go submit the documentation and they have to wait for the registration, like equally like for 2-3 days, probably they have to stay in the place for the registration. But recently I have seen since 2-3 years, many councils in our country have come up digitalization. Online registrations are open, including my state, Uttar Pradesh, like documents, registration form, and also fees is submitted through the online platform. But here again, online means it's not like it is done in a 15 days time. Again, it will take time because council has to verify every student documentation. So one state, one council, and states like Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, they are hugely geographically distributed. many students. So they take the good time here again to verify documentation. So the thing which has to be done within a month, it goes more than 2 months, 3 months. So this is the gap, created from the time of examination till the time of registration. Before it was 9-10 months. Now it has come up to 5 months. The time span has reduced little, but not exactly what we are expecting, that students should be like once after the exams, once after registration, they should be in the placement and they should be working as a nurse. That is not happening actually. But there are solutions. Let's just discuss once it comes to the solution part. But this is how there's a gaps created from the university to the institution to the council. So this is how it is in everyone's hand, not only in the institution or the council. Only council is not responsible. It is a whole system has to work in alignment to bring this timeline, window period, and alignment. This is what I feel is. This is my experience as well. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Lavanya. So you are agreeing that there is a gap between the
Absolutely.
administration. So let's move on to asking Upama. So what has been your experience with your students, in your academics? So Lavanya has agreed that there is a problem. So do you agree to that? And would you like to add some more to that? We'll come to the solution in the second round.
Yes. Yeah. What Ma'am Lavanya has said is very correct. After the examination, university takes a fair amount of time. Now here I have another point to make. Depending on which type of university takes time. Some university, like private university, deemed university, they do their evaluation very quickly, within 10 to 15 to 2 weeks time, within a month. But when it comes to state university, when number of colleges are more, number of students are more, they always take a long period of time. And in my university, I am from Jharkhand, and the university also has a process called providing the provisional certificate. Not only the result, without the provisional certificate, Jharkhand State Nursing Council does not receive the student's document. So first the result, then the provisional certificate, another state. So it takes another 1 month of time. So minimum 2 months to maximum 4 months it takes at university level. Now about verification, verification are taking place at 3 levels. First is 10th verification, 12th verification. That is being done throughout the 4 years of course. We do finish all this process. As soon as we receive the provisional certificate from university, the day we receive, next day we keep everything ready and we submit to the council. Then council has another independent verification. They send these students' documents back to the affiliating university again for the degree certificate or degree or provisional certificate verification. So that is not at the institute's hand. That is purely between a council and an university. And university 101% takes minimum 6 weeks to verify their own provisional certificate. So another 6 weeks added to the 4th month. Then council facilitates us with follow-up. Depending on the follow-up that we do, council sometimes does it within 15 days also. Sometimes if all the documents are adequately placed, everything is correct, they sometimes even give within 15 days. But sometimes it again takes time, depending on if it is December month, vacation timing. If council itself has their examination to conduct, like A&M, GNM examination, they delay this process of registration. So multiple external variables play an important role in final registration. And in state of Jharkhand, the whole process is still offline. The whole process is offline. Nothing is online yet. So last year, I am giving you information, 8 months it took for Jharkhand to give us registration. And the biggest problem that over here is the students do not get an opportunity to practice between these 8 months. If at few girls who are very interested in going to a very good organization with accredited hospitals, they wanted to be a clinical nurse, but just because of this documentary deficit, they step back and they join in some A&M school as a tutor. Or they do start their work in a very local level nursing homes, 50 bedded 15-bedded to like a 50-bedded hospitals. And once they start this journey, they hardly try to, you can say, the mindset here. Some students, they want to continue there, complete their 1 year, and then move for their further education, because it is 1 year which is required for a graduate nurse to go for post-graduation. So that's how we lose good nurses, good student nurses who wanted to work in a good clinical field, but they, because of a documentary deficit, they can't. So that's all I have to put forward at this point of time. Multiple things can be discussed during the suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you, Upama. Let me quickly move on to Usha Malik, to take her, views on this gap that we are discussing today. Apart from what Lavanya and Upama had discussed, is there anything more that you would like to add? Not the solutions, as the problem exists today. Yeah.
Problem I am talking about West Bengal Nursing Council, as I belongs to that state. Talking about 7-8 months, it really gives me alarming situations, but West Bengal still it's having 4-5 months resolution. And this time our students got within 3 months the registration. There's a big challenges was for every state nursing council now, because numerous colleges and schools are coming nowadays. So after this university exam for the 4th year examinations, and after getting the registration, it takes a challenges for the university and for the council as well. I'm not going to take over the solution as you have talked to me, but a few things I just want to tell that university examination 4th year, which is going on, we can have a separate look for that. And then we can have a separate look, and the copies and other things, whatever is going, verification, all these things should be in a timely stimulated manner, so that the things can be something different. And what actually happens here, I'm not solution. I'm just
solution. So let me ask you to give some clarity about the problem. The students who are in the waiting period, are they hired by hospitals?
Ma'am, that's I'm going to tell you. The students who are in private hospitals, the students who are passing out from the private hospitals in West Bengal may get appointed in the same hospitals as a trainee, and under the mentorship, maybe with a very low stipend phases, because they are not getting the registration phase, so they can get. Talking about the big challenges for the state government who are having the nursing school and colleges, that they do not have that provisions to take that. So that is a big challenge is actually always coming on. And that we have talked about that 4 months, it also gives an enormous lack for the skill and competency and knowledge about the student nurse. Because all of you must be agreed with here, the student nurses who are just passing also having the lack of knowledge and competency. And if they are not practicing for 2 to 3 months in a good hospital or somewhere else, their competency also became a very lag behind, and their knowledge became lag behind, and the SOP or the hospital's formulation policy, they are also lag behind on that. So if you are just giving me this opportunity afterwards, that how to resolve these solutions to come within 1.5 months for the examinations over and the registration, then in that period of time, I want to tell few of my suggestions regarding the time period, which can be reduced by 1.5 months for the examinations and the registration period.
Thank you. Thank you. So let me just move on to our last academicians, Dr. Sonali. What else would you like to add? We all agree that there is a problem that is existing, and some places, as Usha told, that they are getting placed in the same hospital where they are practicing. So what is your take on that?
I think it was very interesting listening to the other panelists who mostly come from the north part of the India. I would say things are a bit different in Karnataka, since I'm based in Bangalore and I'm talking from Karnataka's perspective. We have 500 nursing colleges and 800 nursing schools in Karnataka, probably the largest number of nursing education institution any state across India has. But frankly, we don't have these many issues in Karnataka, because the nursing, BSc nursing exams are conducted. I mean, out of the 500, almost 490 colleges probably are affiliated to state university, that too, the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences. And of course, all schools are having their exams under the Karnataka State Nursing Examination Board. Both of these bodies have digitalized their process of examination and evaluation. So it happens in a very speedy manner. Once the exams are conducted, we have also had, if the student numbers in supplementary exam were small, we have also had days when the next day results have been declared. So it's been very, very prompt in Karnataka. At the most regular exam, it takes 1 week to 15 days for the state university to announce results. There is no gap there with the university, I would say, as of now. The issue is, as soon as I get my BSc nursing results or DNM results, also I can download my professional degree certificate from the university website the next day, not on the same day, but the next day. When I go for registration to KNC, the Karnataka Nursing Registration Council, as a student, documents that are required of a student to submit there are all original marks card of all 4 years, a course completion certificate issued by College of Nursing, a PDC, that's provisional degree certificate that's downloaded from the university website. The final degree certificate is not necessary. But then the process again at KNC is online. I need to fill an application paying 1,000 rupees. I get a slot, just like when we get a passport done, we get a date and a time slot. The KNC issues a date and a time slot for student to come with their original marks card. The hurdle of principal or college authorities verifying these certificates or attesting them is done away, because the student is required to go with originals to KNC. So that happens briskly. The only thing, there are, of course, some malpractices that happen. Since the title of this conversation is Candid Conversation, I take liberty to say that there are 2 malpractices happen at the KNC, where there are sometimes for no reasons the website shuts down, and then students go directly and do registration, wherein they do pay some additional money, but and get it done even in a day or 2. Their registrations, but formally, if you go also, it shouldn't take more than 1 month's time for a student to get registration done. One delay that happens is printing of final year marks card by the university or the board, which takes around 1 month to 2 months. So on an average, if I count, I think 2 to 3 months gap after the examinations. And in my observation in my own institute, what I've seen is students also feel very tired after they complete their particular course, and they would like to enjoy a month's vacation after the course completion. So it probably they start thinking of registration only after that also. And by then they get their marks card and all in place. So I think issues are comparatively less here. With regards to what happens if somebody really is keen on joining a hospital, at Ramaya, we give them an opportunity to join our hospital immediately after their exams as trainees, wherein they are put on a consolidated pay in a general ward under the senior staff nurse. They work as a trainee nurse, and they are not privileged to carry out invasive procedures during this time. And once they get their KNC registration, they are given the scale that is given to other resident nurses, and they are part of the system. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sonali. So it sounds like at least the Karnataka state, the process seems to be a little bit more faster than the other states that are represented here. So thank you to all the academicians for giving that feedback. And let's quickly move on to our service leaders to know that what is their current experience with these students in this window period. No, not anybody else, just students in this window period. What is that you are currently doing when they approach your hospital? So let me start on with Anu. I'm just taking alphabetical order. Let me just see that.
Yeah, I think that's the advantage or disadvantage of having your name with A. Yeah. So ma'am, as you rightly mentioned, like when you were giving the introduction, like we are already in a big problem when it comes to nursing. We have a huge shortage of nurses, right? And it's not only in India. I think it's a global problem, and I personally feel that though the problem is global, but we have to come up with local solutions. And as you mentioned, like we already have 1.4 million shortage we had 23,000 nurses leaving us in month of March alone. And if you actually count the year over the year, I think the number will run in probably lakhs. So we cannot afford to waste our talent, which, I would say every single minute or every single hour that a nurse is sitting idle, though she, has the requisite knowledge and skills, and we are not utilizing those, expertise just because of some restrictions, either, in terms of their exams delays or in terms of getting them the valid nursing registration number. I think it's not a smart way of working at all. So I can share some of the experiences that we have come across and what we are practicing in our hospitals is like we definitely get a lot of people, freshers who have either given their exams or, have applied for registration or have yet to apply for registration. So there is a window period of which varies from 3 to 6 months. And in some cases, as Dr. Upma, you mentioned, like from Jharkhand, we get a couple of nurses. So in those cases, we have seen cases up to 8 months also. So we have realized that this is an opportune time for us to utilize them and mentor them so that, they are ready for a very smooth onboarding. And we definitely have some restrictions on privileging, till the time they get their registrations done. But they are like any other nurse. So we use this time for inducting them, which is such a wonderful opportunity for us because we have time. We have got these, young nurses who are very willing to learn. They're very, very adaptable. We've got in-house mentors, educators. So we utilize this time for inducting them. And once their registrations, and we actually also give them a window period for their registration. So sometimes they ask for 3 months time, 6 months time, and then the HR definitely does their diligent follow-up on what is the status of their registration. But in no way it comes as a deterrent for not giving them opportunities to grow in the organization, and they are being treated like any other nurse, in the organization. So I think if I can also give you one of my personal example, when I graduated and when I had a gap of 4 months before I actually got my registration done, and I can tell you it was such a frustrating moment because you wanted to work but you were not allowed to work. So it was just sitting idle. How much you can actually study. You've been wanting to take up a job as early as possible, but because of these restrictions that are being imposed. Now I would say, like, I think I will have a lot of my co-speakers speaking about their experiences. We are not in that situation where we can afford to have this knowledge decay and skill decay. We have to get them onboarded as fast as possible and make best use of the talent that we have in our country right now.
Thank you, Dr. Anu. So let me move on to Dr. Jyoti, that, what has been your experience? And you can also speak about any challenges that you may have when you want to look at these students, because that is, then we go on to the solution where we need to use the 60 minutes as productive as possible. Yes, Dr. Jyoti, 3 minutes.
Yeah. Thank you, Tankam. I really loved the points that were brought out by all the leaders here. I'm from Tamil Nadu, so I can speak more about Tamil Nadu. Since we have hospitals in Karnataka, Hyderabad, that is Telangana, and in Maharashtra, I have a recent experience as to what are some of the challenges the nursing students are facing. Now, from the perspective of nursing students, first thing, what comes, I want to be the voice of nursing students here now, to be candid. I would like to get graduated and my name has to come in the first, as soon as I finish my nursing, in the government registration so that I can get a government job. This is one category of nursing students. The other category of nursing students are, I would like to get placement faster. So I finish 1 year and I go for higher education. This part is coming lesser and lesser after COVID. Now, after COVID, what is the one that we are seeing as they wanted to have at least 6 months of experience so that they can migrate internationally. This is what is the student's perspective. Now, what else is their perspective is, first thing is, they are not aware The school ending program probably have to be strengthened. They are not aware. Once the provisional certificate has come, they should not wait a minute. Immediately they can register. In Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and in Telangana, you see the system is very clear, especially in Tamil Nadu, robust system. 24 hours, you will get your registration done. And this is also done in most of the colleges in South and some of the colleges in the North and Eastern part. The college takes the responsibility for registration. So they register, they get the registration after the provisional, and they get this done for the students. And they work as a support for the alumni. So this is a fantastic move I could see, and students feel it's very positive. Now coming to the perspective of HR. Now my HR will be very happy if he's getting a student who's not registered even for 3 months or 6 months, because it is a headache of the head of nursing and the nursing in charges who are making them effective on the ground. Why? Because the cost is lesser. I'm very candid on it. It is not only in some hospitals, I can say 100% every HR can think of this. No HR will think, if they don't have a certificate, what is a big difference between them getting a paper and before getting a paper? It is just endorsement from the council. But what do? They do the same thing right from the day one. However, the effort only is taken by the nursing leaders and the team who are training them. So for HR, it is a cost. Okay, they are able to make the cost for the 6 months, 3 months, and once they get the registration done. Fine, it is a legal implication that they have to adopt to. Reputed institution, we have a bylaws. We cannot onboard a nurse to take care of a patient legally if they are not registered. So hospitals of high repute, or probably those who have gone on certain agreements, cannot have their nurses onboarded as nurses, but they can be only onboarding them as trainees. So nursing students feel frustrated because a candidate coming from another institution is getting her registration first, she becomes a nurse. Whereas the other kind of a nurse, like some other nurses, they are not able to. So a comparative assessment between them is happening within them, and this causes frustration, and students are sometimes the staffs, that is, they are getting little frustrated. This is a nursing perspective, I would say. But truly for the nursing leaders, the main point that I would like to tell you is, like, they have a challenge, but we convert this challenge into opportunity. So we prepare them for job readiness, which is a greater opportunity for us to prepare nurses to onboard and do well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jyoti. So hearing a similar voice, and let me quickly move on to Captain Sandhya to hear her views, and then finally to Dr. Usha, who is heading the largest number of hospital beds in the country. Yes, Sandhya.
Thank you, ma'am. And so acknowledging completely what my dear panelists have said, Dr. Jyoti and the great academicians. So acknowledge this problem and acknowledge the current existing state and the solutions which they have embarked upon. I'm straight hitting onto some remediations which as an organization we have taken, but I strongly believe that if the intent gets cascaded, it can do a lot across the country for the student nurses, our future for the profession. And now the first one here comes in. So leave aside the frustration and the concern for the student nurses, the millennials and the Gen Zs. They are also equally sensitive and very smart on looking out for the job opportunities, and this is the time they do the window shopping also on which opportunity, which institute and which brand suits them most, what are their career options, and what are the various opportunities and channels for to leverage for building their parallel skills and competencies, be it preparedness for IELTS or government profiles as well as the overseas assignments. Parallelly, while they appear for the interviews, they are very clear that they need coaching for government, or do they need IELTS, or it's self-preparation. This is the state in majority of a student who comes for an interview after passing out. First, completely aware about the gaps. Now, the focus is on working and managing the controllables, the repairables. And here it is engaging with the students in the most constructive way. One of the recent initiatives which has been reinforced, started way back in 2016 under Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, the National Apprentice Program Scheme. Now, I would actually urge the nurse leaders to update and educate themselves more on this, because it is actually benefiting in a very structured and a safe manner. Now, NAPS is bringing in the trainee nurses, the students, those who have written their exams and waiting for their registration. They get enrolled under, there is an agencies which are deputed by the government across the country in every state. And students can get enrolled, colleges can get collaborate with them, and these agencies are the one, they are the not one many, but there are hardly a few of them deputed, and they are the one where the hospitals get enrolled and get into an agreement, and the NAPS trainees get deputed through those agencies under this umbrella with the hospital. Now, being the nurse leaders, the job role, and Dr. Jyoti mentioned it very clearly, job role for these student nurses is to be defined clearly and implemented to keep them safe. And this is one time where I appreciate my previous panelists talking about a good onboarding and robust induction and engagement, so that all of us are challenged, and we keep crying about the pride of profession, confidence in profession, sustaining the profession, and the major the mandates which are required in today's times to become and evolve as a professional nurse. This is the time, and not through the through Gyan, but a structured induction and onboarding of these nurses will certainly help them set a firm foot in. There are two options to it when I see a situation in my country, not as a hospital or an organization. There can be finishing schools which can be set up by the colleges, because and I'm the voice of all the hospitals and the service providers here. We are acutely challenged with the mindset, attitude, and the skill level of the student nurses, where the nurses are not job ready. We just can't allow, deploy them even to take care of patients in the ward, even after week or 10 days of induction. So, so this is one thing. So NAPS is one first solution. Second is bridging the gap between the service and the academics by adopting and collaborating from the final year onwards, so that the hospitals are open for the observerships, internships, and the nurses are oriented to the patient care workflows from their finishing year of their in their academic phase. So these are the two things which are actually working. It started to work well for us, and I'm sure with these learnings and experience, others can also further refine it and evolve it to the next level. And third, but last but not the least, is also creating opportunities. We know in the private sector, where 74 and more % of the healthcare in India is driven by the private sector, and we are the world's second largest nurses providers to the entire world. Here, all of us are sensitive about that the nurse is not going to spend long duration or many years with us. A span is looked up is 2 to 3 years at max. Beyond this is a blessing. Minimum is 8 to 1 year, 12 months. Now, during this phase, it is very important we engage with the nurses in our hostels and in our hospitals to create opportunities for their, building their skills and competency in English speaking, in refining their skills on advanced nursing procedures, which is further helpful in their, clearing their examinations and other licenses for the greener pastures, because these are the things which nurses spend heavily. They even take loans, and as hospital, while we know, and with the mutual agreement, we can actually embark and think of this solution, which probably, to mitigate the situation, 3 things can work for us. Thank you, ma'am. Back to you.
Thank you, Sandhya. So you actually told the challenges and solutions also. So I move over to Dr. Usha. So I will request her to place the challenges and start the solutions discussion as well. So, then I'm making some points here, so I'll try to summarize and then we'll see what more we can do. So over to you, Dr. Usha.
Being the last on the panel, I think I have the disadvantage that all of them have said everything. I would like to reinforce, but I'll still want to touch upon the problem. Sorry, I want to be very, very candid. That's your title. So I must be given that little space of having to sit.
Club both. You have 6 minutes, no problem.
First of all, I think you have opened up a Pandora's box, and I think we could look forward to a lot of skeletons stumbling out of this particular conversation here. And if you ask us whether there is a problem, I would like to probably climb up the biggest building and stand on the rooftop and scream, yes, 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 there is. And after listening to all the panelists, especially the academicians, sorry, I also moved from academia to being a hospital administrator way many years ago. I would be lost as a student looking at different states, speaking different languages, different processes, different timelines. How crazy is that? I, like a very, very demanding customer, would like to say that I'm a consumer of this product that's being created. Unfortunately, today, most of us seated here are from the premier institutions, whether they are from academics or from the hospital. So we have probably better things to speak about. Unfortunately, I, being a person who hires probably one of the largest number of nurses in the country, have a very sad story to say. I speak without absolute emotions here. I would like to be having the apathy and a very, very demanding gesture. I would not wish to say that I would like to hire a nurse who is yet registered. Legally, that's not right. And ethically, that's not right. And I think what I see in the country is that the country is trying to exploit on this trainee concept that is, now taking shape. Large number of workforce now stems from the trainee portion, who are used as a head count and a manpower count and are in the budgeted P&L of the company. And these are people, however, whatever you say, said and done, are not sitting in classrooms, they are delivering direct care to the patients. People like us wish to hire people, and there is a huge skill set and the amount of investment that goes into in-service education. It's a happy situation for us as a country, and I think the academics have to prepare students ready for job. Now, we spoke about state registration. Unfortunately, when staff come to the hospitals of a particular state, there is a re-registration in that council. I think we didn't touch upon that point, and that's taking a huge amount of time. Process is lengthy. The digital process, it's also made it more complex, I would say, because many students do not upload documents that are necessary on time. Hence, the registration does not come by. And how do we employ such a candidate, just up there for patient care? And being complex environment that we are, our students are never even taught such complex, subjects that we hire them for. So I think that's a separate topic in itself. And I think that would take you many, many roundtables to discuss. So to me, the solution is, yes, I do not want to own up the student at that point in time. Let's be frank. We all have bigger responsibilities. We have responsibilities for the whole profession. But then I still feel that the student, I would not support what Sandhya said or Anu said, and then, invest in teaching English or soft skills to the nurses. That's part of the curriculum. They should have come out with those skills. Why would I want to reinvest and lose my time? I would rather teach advanced skills. Yes, I borrowed that from your conversation. So for me, I think what I see is there has to be regulation, statutory norms that come up for registration, student communication and information to expedite the process, a unified approach of all councils to bring about change in the way they look at registration and ensuring that the product is ready for hire, academics owning up to churn out products that we can engage in and they are job ready. We as administrators looking at an academic clinical partnership where we can partner with schools, colleges, etc. I would not even mind having an NABH arm for the nursing education part where the basics of patient safety and the high-end processes are taught. And I think forums like this, Tangam, where we do have these kind of candid conversations that reach out to the lesser known schools and colleges where we largely hire students from. I don't think I hardly get an MS Ramaya student to come to practice in any of my colleges because you have your own institution. So I think what I see for the future is, joining hands to take it to the next level. So
Okay,
that's where I come.
thank you. Thank you so much, Usha, for this very, very candid outlook that you said that you wouldn't like to hire student nurses. And I like the next sentence you said, exploit trainee nurses. I think we all need to be wary about that because that could be a challenge. But yet there is a desire from your side also that you will extend you would like to hire, patient-ready nurses, but you are willing to join hands with the colleges to make sure that they are getting prepared. So that's the message I got from your deliberation. So I have Dr. Sonali and Cynthia who raised their hands. So let me move over to Dr. Sonali, that you have something burning. That's why she raised the hand when you were talking. So I said, okay, let me listen to that person. Yeah, everyone's hands are up. We'll take one more round very quickly. We do have time till 4:20. Unless you all are willing to sit here till 6 o'clock. Yes, Sonali, very quickly, 2 minutes. Yeah.
Yes, I just wanted to say that I really admire what Dr. Usha said just now, because that's what is my concern as well. Because when longer times are taken, there is a window for the hospitals to exploit our student as trainee nurses. As someone already mentioned that HRs are happy taking them because the cost cutting can be done. So there could be times that hospitals, anyway, we know the nursing attrition rates are very high. No one stays more than a year or two. Then there could be a next moment in the hospital industry. Why not, hire only trainees? And then by the time they get their registration, they're ready to go abroad. So I think what we need to do is get the system put in place. But of course, I think it's beyond the limit of our round table, and that's not the topic today. Probably we could have another discussion as to how the councils could work better, because I think she rightly also pointed out the issue where I move from one state to another. I need to now surrender my Karnataka registration if I'm moving to Maharashtra, and the process is digitalized. And of course, it does take time. I have a faculty who've been struggling for last 3-4 months to get a TL Tamil Nadu registration cancelled and get a KNC done here. So those issues are there, and I acknowledge them.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sonali. Quickly to Sandhya, you had put your hand up.
Yes, ma'am.
Just
Thank you so much.
Only. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. So 2 things which I picked up. While we struggle for, for a job-ready nurse, most important is like Uttar Pradesh is going to be the first state in the country to have its nursing institutes, schools and colleges of nursing, NABET accredited institution. And this is what Ma'am Usha response to your question. There is already an NABET QCI vertical for the certification and standardization of academic institutes. It is happening then if the colleges and schools in the country are going for it, why not nursing? And it's already started. It's a fleet of nurses who are getting ready, trained to do the assessment of those nursing institutes. So this is one thing which probably goes strong, and it will be a matter of pride for the nursing institute to match the standards, but also to flaunt, yes, they meet the national standards for nursing education. So this is one thing. And a second important thing is, whatever it is, finishing school is something we can't wait for the policymakers, because which is a priority, but it will take like, it has taken donkey's years to revise the curriculum. So policy, we can't sit and wait for the policies to revise, revamp, re-engineer and relaunch. No, we have to do our bit. And here, that's the reason I'm using this platform to urge the colleges and schools. Doesn't matter, it's a bridging course, it's a finishing school, finishing program, but do something on the skills in collaboration with the hospitals. And absorption and placement of your students will be readily available on good brands or reputed hospitals, organizations where the student nurses would love to work. But this would probably be a win-win for both, and also strengthen the bonding, as well as, it'll help in bridging the gap. So if not in the final year, but also as in finishing school program, because this is one gap uniformly seen across all states and in all, be it a college of nursing or a school of nursing passed out products. So this is for the time being, till the time we evolve and strengthen and implement our national policies and protocols.
Thank you.
And third is NAPS to be extended to ANMs as well. But I'm not aware whether this a scope exists or not, but this could be another.
So ANM, we will keep it aside, because today we are only talking about the
nurses,
DNM and BSc students. So we'll keep it aside. So let me move on to Usha Malik, and I'm just going to go from academician to services just to hear how they are responding to each other's, whatever solutions and challenges that have come. Very quickly, 2 minutes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Just I will take two to 3 minutes. Actually, we are talking about the bridging the gap, and I think here all the entire persons we are over here, not the 8 finalists, other participants who are joining with us, have the enough responsibility to bridge this gap. First and foremost thing is that university, whenever they are conducting the examination, they must be thinking about the process that the 4th year examination or 3rd year GNM examinations can be done something separately with the other years. Nowadays, the semester system came. Hopefully, that will be giving us some solution. And after finishing the examination, whenever the submission of the copy will be there in the university, the evaluator should be invited to the university to check the copy, so that within 15 days, all the copies should be checked. And whenever the students will be in the 4th year, they are studying, all types of the verifications will be done, and the portal will be open to entry all of their certificate, all of their mark sheets, everything, so that just after getting the mark sheet from the university on the 4th year completion, by 15-20 days, they can enter their portal in the portal. So 15 days copy checking, and 15 days they will take the mark sheets and other things. By this 1 month and 1.5 months, hardly 1.5 months, nursing council need to take for the registration. Because if the process all this started after the mark sheet, then the things will be automatically delayed. So it will be university's decision that copy should be checked within 15 days. Marks should be given within the online submission marks. Nowadays, everywhere in West Bengal, we are checking the copy and we're doing the online mark submission. So I am going to university, I'm sitting over there, I'm checking my copy, I'm putting my marks online. So everything became online. There is no headache for the others to go for the other thing. And now the question is come, then 1.5 months, it can be done. And yes, I support one madam has told that students need to gap also 1 month. So if we are thinking that students after completion of their 4th year, they are just taking 1 month's leave after so many hectic days, schedules and 4 years. So within 1 month, the registrations can be done in such a way. If we, the council, if the university, if the institutions are togetherly and jointly working over there. With my due apologies, I just want to tell one thing, because I came from an operation as well. As Madam Indani said, extend my 16 years in hospital administration as a head of nursing, where all my due respect to the nursing heads who are coming from the different private hospitals, I have a alarming situations for the government nurses. Although you talked about the private nursing, that they can absorb, they can come, they can take the registrations afterward, your HR can wait up to that. But my questions for the students who are passing now from the government, because many of the students are now passing from the private institution, they can get absorbed in the private. But whatever the students who are passing from the government institution, who are going to take them absorption. It is very alarming number nowadays. And talking about the trainee nurses, I really appreciate Usha madam thought, but at the same time it is happening. If you reality show, you see in my tenure I have absorbed many of the nurses who are not having the registration, not having the third year mark sheet, but we need to inculcate them, we need to sit them in the induction classes, we need to prepare them. After 3 months, at least whenever they got the mark sheet and registration, we can make them as a board for the staff nurses or something. So what I wanted to mean as a solution, that private government partnership along with the institutions, council, university and the nursing institution need to jointly work so that the registration process can be faster and the publication of the result can be faster and the accommodations and the recruitment can be processed in few corporate hospitals if that is possible. That's all, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Usha. Let me move on to Dr. Jyoti and hear what is her solutions part, and then we'll go to academicians and back to Dr. Anu. Then we'll have one more person left. Yeah.
Dr. Usha Malik has given a very low-lying suggestion for this particular issue, but I would like to give a visionary result and a solution for this. Like when it comes to governance, the framework for nursing governance, especially when we want to bring in a unified education, academia and practice, we don't have a structured governance. Recently, when we had a program pre-conference as clinical nursing governance framework, it would surprise that many of the hospitals also don't have, very few have. So the governance structure for nursing, now we are coming under medical universities. We don't have a nursing university of ours. We don't have a nursing directorate of ours. So I think these are the first thing we should vision for, where more nursing professionals will be on the statutory level, who can make the decision, who can decide. The second thing that I would like to give it as a solution is, we have to give a clear-cut direction. Like for example, in NABH we say 15 days is the cutoff for anybody joining to complete the induction. So same way, a defined framework time should be given. And the third one is, like there is a lot of diversity when it comes to Indian Nursing Council to State Nursing Council. There is no unified connecting link between all these, although there is some amount of connections happening. So maybe those links have to be very much strengthened so that the confusion may not arise either from the nursing side or nursing staff side or from the student side. The last part I would like to mention here is every single nursing students, right from the day one, should be made very clear what are they prepared for and what is for their self. They are more important than for what they are prepared for. So what is the importance of theirs should be taught to them, make them very sensitive so that they are able to become the consumers of the product, as Usha said. So they have the right, the student nurses have the right, after having paid 4 years of course or 3 years of course, taking a loan from the government or taking a loan from a private bank, they have to repay it. I have seen many nursing students selling, the parents have sold their properties and made them come for this particular program. So we need to see that their bank gets the salary as early as possible and the deserving salary as early as possible. I think as Annie and India, Nurse India, I think this is one solution that we have to have, and all our strategies can revolve around that. So this is what is a take-home message I would like to give, and I would like to be partnering with towards it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jyoti. Let me pick on Lavanya, then
Yeah.
I'll move to Anu, and then back to Uma.
Yeah, ma'am, thank you
Dr.
so
Suresh.
much. I will also take quickly points here. See, as Madam Jyoti was saying, state nursing councils are working very differently because there's no uniformity, because Indian Nursing Council is not having any hold on any state nursing council. We are looking forward for NNMC bill. It can bring some uniformity with the state nursing council norms, because reciprocal registration, what everyone is mentioning, it is really a painful one, because one state to other state, for example, students studying in Uttar Pradesh, she has to take a registration first from Uttar Pradesh. If she wants to work in Delhi, again, she has to go and re-register it. This takes, I think, 3-4 months extra. Whatever we're talking 6 months, it will add on 3 more months here. So NUID, what is a nurse's unique ID, what has been initiated by INC now through NRTS, looking forward with that, practically it's not happening. NUID number has been given to every nurse, whoever is registering under NUID. Probably this will resolve in the coming years, because NUID is one identity where all your documents will be saved. So this will be, shared with every council wherever you are transferring or migrating. So you need not submit your document. That is a further steps, I feel, but it's not happening right now. Looking forward with the NUID as a solution for the reciprocal registration. And the fees is also very high. Like state to state, when we go, registration fees are very high. Where anywhere, fresh nurse will spend around 20,000 for a registration one state to other state. And she has to go and stay there. She can't finish off her registration one day. Lodging and traveling and registration fees somewhere. And the nurse who is getting 20,000 pay, she's spending 20,000 for her registration, something not really appreciable. And this is the message is going outside for the youngsters as well. That is how, when we share these kind of hurdles in nursing, already people are not interested to join nursing because of the dedication, sacrifice, time and all. And unless until we make this easy process, I don't think so we'll be able to attract more young nurses for this profession. This is one thing. Second thing is, see, in Uttar Pradesh, as Sandhya was sharing, we have undergone QCI process. Very shortly, they'll be grading us under QCI. And based on that, admission also will be, students will be given to us. Apart from that, JAPAGO has also walked in. We are under JAPAGO, quality assessment as well. That is under the Uttar Pradesh government initiative.
Lavanya, solutions.
Yeah, solutions.
Not what you're doing.
My students,
we already got some points from
our
you
students are not wasting any time to say this here, because wherever we have a placement with the hospitals, our students are absorbed immediately, even before registration. They are put as a trainees, induction is given during that period, including under Usha Madam's leadership, this is happening. And I'm thankful to her, HR of Indraprastha Apollo Hospital. Though they are not a nurses, like they're working as employees, they're working as interns for that till they get the registration. And by the time they do that, they're ready for the culture of the hospital, SOPs of the hospital, and they're ready for the work. The induction period is reduced there. Even Max is doing this. I think this is a good model. Like, we are not wasting time anywhere till the registration. Even web copies of registration is accepted by many hospitals. So this is a good go. This model will help, I think, if every hospital go with this kind of do not employ them, keep them as an intern till they get the registration. So that's the solution is happening in our institution, ma'am. No student is wasting time till they get the registration. So this is what else I wanted to take. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Lavanya. Let me move on to Dr. Anu Kaushik quickly.
Yeah, hi. I'm just picking up my discussion from what Dr. Usha Banerjee ma'am said. I think, ma'am, you rightly mentioned that, we are not, here to train people, because that's not our prime job, right? And we should get nurses who are ready to embark on this journey from day one, from the moment they graduate. And that's a situation that an ideal situation we all want to be in. But the ground reality is that there is a gap. And I think just bringing everybody's attention to the topic, the gap between the nursing examination and council registration. Like, I want to quickly talk about some of the nursing colleges which are already offering a world-class clinical experience. And if I say so, like, if I take example of ma'am, your college, Apollo School of Nursing or Holy Family School of Nursing, I know, that the moment the student finish their, training period, they are ready for a job. They can work independently as a nurse from day one, but there is a delay because of the delay in the statutory compliances, like, registration, and that is what I'm coming to is, even if you take them as trainees because they are not, registered, but they are able to perform the job roles and the responsibilities. My question is, why are we exploiting them? Why are we not giving them full salary? What difference does it make if they get a registration council? Okay, you can change their designation from a student trainee to a registered nurse, but why is it that we are, having this exploitation just because they don't have a registration number? And that is the reason we are giving them less salary, and we are giving them a stipend, which I feel is something that we need to probably think about and see what we can do way forward. Another solution that I propose is, we understand, the kind of clinical experience or the training that's happening in many of the nursing colleges is not at par, or is not up to the expectations, as per our standards. So one of the model that we can look at is, and that we have also done in past is, and currently doing, is adopting some of the nursing colleges and schools and getting the students for their 6 months internship with us, so that when they are doing that internship, they understand our ways of working, understand our clinical processes and protocols, and the moment finish their exam, they are onboarded with us as student intern, but on full salary. And the moment they get registered, then they are, ready to, work as the designation changes to registered nurse. So, and obviously keeping the bylaws in mind, and giving them the privileges, that the government or the laws permit. And the last thing that I really liked what Usha ma'am said was on this, state registration. I think any state registration if the nurse is having, that should be sufficient enough for her to, allow her to practice, because that at least she's got once, state mandate, that means all her documents have been verified, she's been certified. If there is a requirement for a migration, that should not stop or hold her from taking a job in another state. She can buy time, but that should not be a deterrent for not getting an employment. So these are my takeaways. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anu. I'm noting down all the points. I wish I could get the time to summarize them quickly. Upama.
Yeah, ma'am. Again, I heard all of the people. I started quite, I said this earlier also. Let me just, many points are said. I strongly believe one-stop solution can be NRTS, that is Nurses Registration and Tracking System, which was started by Indian Nursing Council and started along with another important declaration, but that could not be realized because of COVID, which is like single entry to the point of in the nursing. These two will, in a long term, can address a lot of confusions that is right now the students are in. So another point which Anu ma'am has just rightly said, I just wanted to make that point once more. I reiterate that why multiple registrations? When a student move from one state to another state, why needing to do again a reciprocal registration, which Dr. Usha Banerjee also said that we all touched upon the primary registration. First time when the students are doing the registration, there is another hazard when we shift from one state to another state, this reciprocal registration, and it's so cumbersome, and sometimes it is incomplete even after following it up. Sometimes we don't even get. So, and the parent registration council do not want to renew your registration, whereas a new registration council does not want to give you a registration. So, where do you belong to? So this is another problem which I do not want to move to that side. I have one thing to say here, which Madam Usha was saying, exploitation, and Dr. Anu rightly said, why do you call it an exploitation? I was just looking at the registration processes in abroad. I was looking at Australia, I was looking at UK, and I was also looking at USA. There is an option in USA called new grad. The students, when they appeared for NCLEX and they have not yet passed, there are certain hospitals, they have this option for the new grad to join them, and the liability for getting the registration is on the hospital. They have this liability. So this is something which is extremely useful. We can learn from the advanced countries. Instead of migrating our brilliant student nurses to their country to serve them, instead of that, we can use their processes for our country. I know this is not a right forum to discuss this, but this, I think, one of the very important things. Another thing which I want to highlight here regarding this exploitation and giving less salary. Even in Australia, there are 3 categories of nursing. the registered nurses and the empaneled endorsed enrolled nurses. These are like diploma and degree. When they apply for their registration, in spite of being an EN and RN, they can work till their registration is there. They can work as AIN or assistant in nursing with a limited scope of practice, which is very important. Here, I would like to quote this again and again. Student nurses who have completed their course, considering the fact that they have learned everything, they have all the needed skill set, which we are responsible for. I can vouch for my students. They are competent in English language. They're competent in basic skills at a general ward. And they're competent when it comes to personality as well. We teach them that way. I don't want any corporate hospital to teach these basic things. As a principal, if I have not taught this to my students, it is our failure. And I strongly agree to Dr. Usha what she said. Why to spend money on that? That is the job of a college. And we are making our students so. So if these students get a specific scope of practice during this period, when their primary registration has not yet come, and they can be recruited as a trainee. You call it trainee, you call it anything. I don't want to quote what will be called. But if this is as Sandhya ma'am at a 40s level, I don't want to, point out any specific hospital. But I have, for my students, I have approached most of the major hospitals in Kolkata. Most of the hospitals, they denied to take the students because they are registered. They are not yet registered. And they are not recruiting trainee nurses. And they are saying that, I don't want to quote the name, they are stating that accrediting body has specific observation that you should not recruit trainee nurses. So you understand, the students, I am sure my students are listening, the interns who have completed, though they are ready, but they are not able to. The solution which I have thought about is this: we can think of creating a scope of practice, specific scope of practice, and collaborative adoption. As Sandhya ma'am has also said, Anu ma'am has also said, it's extremely important. My college is associated with Tata Main Hospital, which is like a 1,000-bedded multi-speciality hospital. But again, in the name of an accrediting body, my HR is not recruiting my own students, which is a pain point for me also. And so this is something which I personally think all of us sitting together, 3 solutions for me: adopting the graduates, not only for my college. It's not my college which has a parent hospital. There are many colleges, the students do not have a proper parent hospital who can uptake them.
Upama, can you just list your 3 solutions?
Yes. So first thing is adoption of the graduates. First point. Second point is NRTS. Enrolling all the students under NRTS during the process. And the third point is specifying a scope of practice and giving them salary as per their scope of practice without calling it a exploitation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Upama. That was a nice, finalization of the topics. We are actually over the time limit, but very quickly, last 1 minute, Dr. Usha, because we already crossed our time.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Upama. I would love to have your students, but I don't take guarantee of all the students that come to my institution. So I would definitely stand for my point and say that I would not like to take students till they are registered. And even I would not like to have a scope of practice and enroll them. So if at all you had trouble with the accreditation body, probably it must be one of the Apollo hospitals. So my point here would be that we must bring in more experts to talk upon this topic, because probably I don't understand the other side of the problem. So council members and academicians and stalwarts who can give us input. So that would be the first step to solve this problem and bring in more academicians from various other smaller hospitals from where we recruit. So I think there should be a joint conversation. 2, I think we should set a timeline for registration, max 1 month. 3rd is, I think the students should not go on a perpetual holiday. They should know that jobs are serious and there could be a skill deterioration in the period that they languish. So we must get them fast on board, and that mental preparation happens back in the school, because like we were taught in the army that you really need to gear up for being absolutely independent in your practice. And it all stopped the day our studenthood ended. All that we today as hospital administrators invest in should get infused back into the institution. So it's given communication, English, basic skills, etc., etc. Citizenship from students. I think Jyoti very nicely put it across, saying that, they're paying tons of money to get into nursing. So they should demand what their experience and what the curriculum should deliver. In addition, there has to be citizenship from the students. They can't do shopping, hopping. They come to our places, we train, teach them. And the moment their registration comes, they belong to some other hospital. A lot of them do this. No hiring trainees for me. Stakeholder partnership. We need to bring in a lot of academicians and hospital administrators together and see how we can support each other. And leveraging technology is very, very important, how we can digitize the whole process and have one solution. And once again, I reiterate, one country, one single registration. You don't have to move state to state. And finally, I think we all should journey into the future, because our traditional models will become irrelevant. So we need to know what's going to be our future for the next 10 years. If we can start talking on that, I think it'll be a big help for us.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Usha. Quickly to Dr. Sonali.
Yes, I just thought I would sum up what solutions, because I don't think I talked about the solutions, but of course it's a summary of what others have spoken. I see two parts to this story. One is about registration not coming in time, and second, certainly about the skill gap of the students. So for the first part, the registration not coming in time, I think digitalization of exams, evaluation, and council registrations is the key to it. Probably unification of council registrations across India would help, and as everybody mentioned, NRTS might help for that. The colleges also, I think, will need to educate students on how to go about for a registration process, because not all students are tech savvy, and they may not know, even if it becomes an online process, as to how to upload their documents, why registrations are necessary. Sometimes graduating students don't know about all these. And then we can, as academicians, spend some time. We conduct an employability training program of 1 day where we train our students on how to prepare your resume, how to face a job interview, what is registration and licensing, what is NABH, a brief intro to NABH accreditations in hospital, and certain topics. So I think that can be done from the academician side. With registrations. And as everybody said, I think it's a very good idea to have a timeline set for the registration, and it shouldn't at the most exceed 2 months. That should be the max time that a council should take to give registrations. Coming to the second part, the skill gap, although like Dr. Usha said, we would not like students who don't have skills, and we would like the colleges to do this. But we are in an unfortunate situation where 90% of our education institutions are in private sector, and we know how they are operating. We are not just talking about Ramaya and great educational institutions here. Such we can only count on fingers. The vast majority is those which don't have faculty, which don't have infrastructure, which don't have an hospital at all. So I think given that situation, expecting that they become skill ready, of course, is a nice thing to wish for, but that's not going to happen given the situation that we have today. So one thing that can be certainly done, I think Dr. Anu spoke about it, that the students have in their last 6 months an internship incorporated in their curriculum, during which probably a hospital could give them, an opportunity to intern with them, because it's still a part of curriculum. They have not completed their courses. What I see today, the hospitals want great nurses, but they don't want students, nurses to be working with their patients. If our students are not going to learn on patients by doing things, then you can't have skilled nurses at the end. So you will have to give them some opportunity to at least perform basic procedures, nursing procedures. And I think during the internship, the focus could be on, giving them to do the basic nursing procedures, looking at the patient safety issues, medication administration, which is a very key thing in the hospital, and also communication and interpersonal relationships could be brushed upon while they are interning with the hospital. And during this time, we shouldn't call it as a pay or remuneration. It can be a stipend, because during internship, students are paid stipend, and that cannot be equated with remunerations or salaries. So I think that can be probably done given the situation we are in. Of course, we need to pull up our education the way we are doing. And it's a welcome move that central government for the first time has invested in nursing, opening up 157 colleges, hoping that they all will have better facilities. And if not other facilities, a hospital is a great facility, I would say. So they all are attached to medical colleges, and certainly there is a hospital. So let's look forward to future whether we will have the kind of nurses we wish for. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sonali. So we are almost, we have crossed the time limit. So I'm going to kind of summarize from all the discussions. We all are agreeing that we need to work on the students. We all are agreeing. And I also heard willingness for the service providers to partner with the academic institutions. You're already doing some work. I also heard very loud and clear, the people who are sitting here is probably the cream of services and, education institution. There are hundreds and thousands of, educational institution outside this, we don't know. So there has to be a strategic, focus on uplifting whatever that is happening, but then it will take time. So NRTS definitely something that we need to look upon. So we cannot now discuss why NRTS is not adopted by everyone. So that is for some other time. And probably we need to get in touch with INC and see what is the problem and whether we can support in any way, because it doesn't make sense for nurses to be jumping from one state to other and then doing the registration, waiting for that. I think it's a self-defeating process that we have created ourselves. And the other thing is about, always my question was that in all the graduation, in all the nursing course, there is an internship. Why that internship cannot be, handheld together? Then when we do that, we will be much easier to acclimatize them and get them into the system. So they can go back and give the exam. There may be some process when they go back, will they come back and all that stuff. So that needs to be discussed between the academia and the service provider to see how can we work together so that they are prepared. If not serving at your place, they'll serve somewhere else, and they will be called as better nurses. They interned in this hospital. So their experience when they, let's say they interned in IHH, they go to Apollo, Dr. Usha will say, oh, you look good. What happened? Because I interned in that particular hospital. So maybe there is a process which is sitting there to standardize this, academia and service partnership to create solid internship programs. Where, because I cannot talk about what happened to me, so somebody's telling 7,007 nurses only registered. That's really sad. Lakhs and lakhs of nurses are coming out. So that is there. We'll not get into that. So what I heard is that we are willing to have an internship program. What I heard is that they don't need to be during that time, they can be paid stipend. Now the intent of the service providers to invest some time in interning them is something that needs to be discussed about. And when I was in the services, I think we did call them trainee. I think we should not call them trainee. We should call them as interns. Let's use standardized nomenclature for everything. Call them as interns. And while they are waiting for the registration, like Upama told, there is model existing everywhere. If we don't allow them to enter the hospital, we are the ones who are going to perpetually complaining that, they are not ready, they are not ready. So there is not one solution that straight away we can talk about. So there is a lot of, noise around that, what all that we discuss. So we need to come together, and probably when somebody has a model that is working well in collaboration with the hospital and the academia, we should facilitate that journey to be shared with more and more people. and, making sure the scope is written down correctly. What I understood from NABH is that they don't say that don't take student nurses. There's nothing like that. It is just that we are interpreting it. So an accreditation only wants to know that you should have a safe staffing level. So this is up to the hospitals to say that how safe staffing can be maintained, right? So Sandhya is telling no. Are they saying you can't take student nurses? Are they saying that?
No, ma'am. They very clearly mention they need to have appropriate credentials and the privileging. So when it talks of credentials,
Only if you are using them as registered nurses.
So
no,
may
ma'am,
I,
to practice the profession.
being a principal assessor of NABS,
Yes.
when I go for assessment, I look for numbers. So if the numbers are equivalent to cater to the patient is fine. If you have trainees, nobody is going to question you, why are you having? All that we look for is a proper set of scope that is being given, and they are under a preceptor. And preceptor
Yes.
will take the ownership, or the doctor and the team who are going to take the student for learning will take the ownership. They will not document, they will not directly involve in invasive procedures, but they can observe, they can assist. So this is what we look for.
Just refining it. Anybody who is actually providing care in the hospitals need to have appropriate credentials within as per the regulatory norms of that state. So now this is what NABH actually ensures for both doctors and nurses, and now for paramedics also. That's technicians. And what Dr. Jyoti and my previous panelist also has said, scope of practice, that is the job roles. Now job description and the job role of a trainee or an intern has to be defined to practice safe. This is what it actually asks. There is no, taking over or giving care to the patient is not prohibited. And as it said, they can always do this under supervision or along with a mentor or under a preceptor's supervision.
So when it comes to nurse-patient ratio, they will not be taken into consideration.
Absolutely. They are not.
But I think there is a way around. There is a way around. That's what I'm hearing. Yes, sorry, Usha.
Problem to our candid conversation was on the topic that bridge the gap between the completion of the examinations and the registration.
Yes.
Actual, and in between the nurses, student nurses who are not getting the job, at the same time the hospitals who are having a large number of shortage, they're also facing problem, and in the perspective of student nurses who are just passing out without completion of the registration, they're not getting absorbed. So actually, I think that was the most important issues for that it raised.
Yes.
And if all together, the academicians and the leaders of the nurses and all others, if we can only foster this registration process, then you see that entire things will be resolved. As we are talking about the NURT and other thing, that is a separate. It may be from INC, it may be from State Nursing Council. That does not matter. Matter is one, that how the registration process should be so much faster than the student nurses should not be wait more than 1 month to get the job in any part of the hospital and city of the country. That's the
I totally agree, Usha. So that's why there is a need to use technology to leverage the entire thing, because we cannot be lagging behind, because all other professions are very easily, getting things done using technology. And we do have part of it as NRTS. So probably we need to have a representation to INC. We cannot wait for NMBC bill to come. A lot of things can happen, and we have been hearing this for the last few years already. So should we wait till all this happen, or will we start doing something? Just a second, Upama. Let me just hear from Usha. She had been raising her hand.
Tangam, I clearly support what Sandhya said. She's clearly defined the standard of accreditation. The language is exactly what she said. See, while we say that, we would love to have students mentor them, practically it is really not possible. And I don't envision that for a decade more, because our young nurses themselves are under the learning process, though they are registered. How are they going to preceptor these students? It's a very, very tough call. So honestly, I think we should look at expediting the registration and having registered nurses on board. I bring that back again. Number two, those nurses who are registered should have the desired skill set. I'm not saying advanced skill sets, at least the basic skill sets. And Lavanya already mentioned an internship program in hospitals, I think many of us should open up the doors to channelize that. And Dr. Sonali also mentioned that. So that's the way forward.
So I think when we summarize,
mandatory.
Dr. Usha, that we are literally little running short of time. We have already overshot the time. Indrani is telling we are supposed to keep up with the time. Both Preeta and Indrani is there. So once again, I'm going to summarize to say that everybody is open for an internship because that is going to connect this to the post-exam period. So once the one hospital has already interned a student, maybe there can be a way that they will come back after the exam and come to the same place because they have trust in them because they have interned, right? While Usha do say that we need to expedite, totally agreed, registration should get expedited, but it will not happen overnight. And we have, so many nursing councils that need to be, brought across. So we'll have to see how can we make the representation to the right people so that digitization is probably the solution to make all this process pretty faster. And then, yes, the schools tying up schools and colleges, actually working in tandem with the, service providers to have a proper preparation of their students. So these things, what we are discussing today, they are nothing new. We had been discussing like this for ages together. And I had been in India from 2001. Not much has changed. It is the same thing. So I keep wondering that, there is some gap somewhere that we are okay, we are talking, but we are not. We need to create a model and tell that this is the model that worked between Apollo and this college, or Fortis and this college, IHS, all the people sitting here, Cloud9, they said, this is the model that we adopted. This was the result that happened. And probably there is a need to publish these, new models that you are, using to measure the results and share with more people. As we talk here, US has already moved away from primary nursing and they're looking at team nursing. There are enough papers now coming out. Is it time now to think differently? Because the problems that existed, 20 years ago, the problems are different today. So can we sit with the same solutions, or we need to look at new solutions? So we heard, a lot of ideas that's coming out, and we understand the problems. We understand the registration time should be crunched. It's very important. And also I heard somewhere in the beginning, every state has got their own examination time, registration time. Service providers are crazy going, which month, which state is going to come out, so we don't know what are the challenges because every state has a university. So maybe we need to have more candid conversation with more people, maybe not on a webinar platform, maybe in closed door discussions to see that can we come up with some solutions and bring in some important stakeholders into those meetings, because today we just started the conversation. And hopefully Nurse India and Cygnia Healthcare together with me, we will try to create platforms for more such candid conversations. And I know I told Indrani that you just call these 8 people. It will not stop at 420. I told her it will be very difficult. It will go on and on and on. So, but I think it was an excellent discussion and very candid, conversations that came from all of you. And, but everybody is leaning forward. That is something very nice to know. Nobody told that, I am washing my hand. I have nothing to do with this. While Usha would desire to have the registered nurses, but she's already partnering with colleges but she has problem with those who are not the premier colleges, all those small colleges. How can she trust their quality? An internship also can only be limited to certain number based on the number of patients you have. So you cannot take more than that, then it will become exploitation. So I'm going to summarize this right now because we are way beyond our time. Indrani and Preeta came on the video to remind me, hello, your time is up now. So I would say thank you so much to each one of you for taking this time out and going through this difficult conversation. And believe me, I'm a person who does not like to stop anything with only discussion. I would like to take the next step. So we will see that how we can represent and probably also understand what is this challenge around NRTS, because I would really love to understand that what is it is, but today we cannot. So we will have another round of conversation to understand why we cannot use NRT as one way of standardizing everything. Yeah.
ऐसे मार रहे थे टी-शर्ट के अंदर हाथ था तुम्हारा
Who is talking? I'm just trying to.
क्या कर रहे थे
I'm able to see who is speaking. Okay. All right. So thank you, Dr. Usha Banerjee. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Jyoti. Thank you, Captain Sandhya. Thank you, Professor Lavanya. Thank you, Dr. Anu Kaushik. Thank you, Dr. Sonali. Thank you, Ms. Usha Malik. And thank you, Ms. Upama. I must say the Kida for all this started from Upama. So thank you so much. That was her call that made me to think that, maybe it is time, because she was so pained that her students, and I did convey to her that, Dr. Usha Banerjee is willing to, definitely see how best they can be. So please connect with each other. All of you are now connected. Please talk to each other. At least take care of your own problems to start with. And then, we will see how can we come up with, larger, bodies discussion to offset the pain that we are facing today. But there are solutions hidden within the chaos that we already have, because we can't wait for the day all this will become very clear, crystal clear, and say, oh, today is the day I will start. It is not going to come. So I think all of us need to put our heads together, willingness together, and I'm sure that we will find solutions. I'm very, very positive about that. Thank you so much, everyone. And thanks, Indrani and Preeta, for creating this Candid Conversation series. And there's a lot of things in the chat box, and it is by and large what we have been discussing, because again, the problem of, NRT is not being, adopted, then hospitals adopting college nurses. I think there was one person who had been putting a lot of stuff here. HR is just a medium. In truth, the superior to HR, maybe the owners might not have allowed to recruit those nurses. Maybe that is a reality also. So it is not just that, maybe the owners, the CEO is saying, no, we don't want to do this. I remember a conversation I had many years ago with the HR, who was like, telling me, you get nurses every day coming. Why do you want to intern with some people? No, we can get anyway. The quality between the intern and the registered nurse is hardly anything. So why don't you invest only in RN? I mean, this is a conversation I had with HR. So all these things can happen, but then that should not stop us from looking forward to new solutions for the new problems that we are facing today. And we are going to lose nurses for sure. All the countries are opening up, and all the good ones are going to go away. And all these colleges which are opening, if we are thinking we are going to get benefit of that, I doubt. Because all the people will get trained and they are going to go out. So we need to figure out the people who are remaining in the country is going to suffer, and all the nursing administrators, I totally empathize with what you people are going through day in and day out. They are real patients, real harm, real incidents that you are fighting every day. I totally empathize. And academicians have to really understand probably the pain. So someday maybe you will sit with the nursing director and work with her for a couple of days. Then probably you will know that why they are aging so faster. I have been in that shoe, so I totally understand. And I also get it. Academicians have got a huge role to play. So that's where we need to come together. We cannot find independent solutions because we are the consumers of the academicians. So we have to work together. There is no future without that. So with that, I'm going to say thank you so much to everyone. And this is going to be recorded and we will share. And all those who are going to watch this video, if you have some thought process, please, we will leave an email in that YouTube link. So you can please write to us if there is something that you can think that we can do as a strategy, not that it's not a whining, place, I have this problem, that problem. Let's come and find some solutions. So over to Indrani and Preeta for a quick wrap up, and then we can say bye to each other. And thank you so much for your time. Preeta, you're muted.
Thank you, ma'am.
This always happens once in a webinar, we start speaking on mute. No, but thank you very much, Thankam, and thank you to all the speakers. I know we've run out of time, so I'm not going to extend too much beyond this. I just want to say that, you know, this conversation must continue, and we must find ways to collate at least the points that have come out of this for other people to build on that, and for all the stakeholders in the value chain, you know, to get an audience and to read into it and to solve it. I don't think we've closed the problem. We've just discussed it threadbare, very authentically. I loved the candor that the speakers brought on. I loved the, you know, dissenting opinions. And I think that's the only way for the profession to move forward. It was great to hear the academicians. It was great to hear the practitioners. I also went back, because we don't have an HR panelist here, but I did go back to my own HR stint. And I was like thinking, okay, sometimes we are also caught in between, you know, there is an NABH saying you cannot, at least that's the understanding, to Dr. Jyoti's point, that you cannot hire trainees. There is a hospital EBITDA pressure always, and that's really a reflection of the management, where, you know, you are not allowed to hire the, you know, nurses beyond the staffing ratios, and yet obviously you cannot take interns as part of those staffing ratios. So that bit is this. So I think it will involve more dialogues with more stakeholders, and with, of course, the government bodies, etc. We've not even engaged so far with, but I think it will be worthwhile to note down at least the points that have come up from this and from the other suggestions that come in from the audience, and maybe just keep that as a live white paper, so to say, so that at some point it can be given to some decision-making body. So maybe that's something that you know, we will do as a next step following this webinar. We'll put down the you know, some of the salient features that have come up. We'll put down some of the issues. At least make that a paper to be shared amongst the panelists, and they can build on that. And yes, this literally moves into the next candid conversation. Thankam will decide the topic, but the conversation must continue. Thank you all for your time. At Nurse India, we are committed to learning from you all, picking up issues where we can bring technology to help. I think it's, you know, nursing is ripe for disruption to solve these admin-related, process-related issues. And, you know, just look at us as your partners. So more when we engage with you deeply one-on-one. But thank you very much today for your time and for the wonderful, candid discussion that you all did. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. And please share the document in the WhatsApp group. So have a good day, all of you. Thank you so much for taking time out, I know. And also, please let me put on record wishing you all a very happy Nurses Month and a very happy Nurses Day. Happy is what we make of it.
Yes, I also wanted to wish to all
what
nurses
is happy
out here.
about Nurses Day. I would always say it is always our job to make it happy. So wish you all a very happy Nurses Day. Bye-bye and take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Happy Nurses Day, everyone.
Thanks.
Happy Nurses Day and have a great evening ahead. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye.
everybody. Thank you.
Bye.